But at the end of the day, we all, like, in a creative process, if you're somebody that's an artist, you get inspired, you get insights. That's a channel on its own, because here you are, you have this idea, and ideas are flowing, right? And you have this moments of high inspiration, and you're doing this art. You can say that's also kind of a channeling process, because it's energy coming, a vibration coming, that's now triggering you, exciting, triggering an inspiration within you, right? So channeling is something that could be done by even writers, artists, even musicians. You get my point, that kind of thing. Like even dancers and artists, like how Beyonce got Sasha Fierce, who gives her that inspiration. Like something else comes in and then activates that energy, and then she called it archetypal energy Sasha. You understand, that kind of thing. It's all about the inspiration. You see, so people think there is something unusual, something weird, when it's something that happens all the time. Even when you automatic writing, when you're an author and you're writing, right, and you're having all these insights and ideas for your book that you're writing. That's another form of channeling as well. See, so it happens all the time. It's not something unusual, okay? So the types of channeling, let's go into them, right? Channeling is not a one-size-fits-all phenomenon, okay? It manifests in various forms, often categorized by level of your consciousness, right? It's actually categorized by the level of consciousness of the channeler. Not every single person can carry the same, or let's just say, not every single person has the same bandwidth. In other words, you need to have a certain type of bandwidth for you to be able to channel or be a source or a medium for a message to come through, okay? Because every single person's consciousness is different. Depending on your worldview as well, your worldview can also block higher frequencies if your worldview is of low frequency, okay? Right. So types of channeling. You have conscious channeling. In this form, the channeler remains fully aware and conscious during the process, okay? They are not in a trance state, and they can recall information they are receiving. Conscious channeling is often described as an inner dialogue and an intense feeling of intuition, where the message comes from thoughts, feelings, or internal knowing. So it's thoughts, feelings, and internal knowing. Esther Hicks channeling of Abraham is known as an example of this type of channeling. It's a conscious channeling, which is getting blocks of information from Abraham, right? The collective, okay? Then is channeling. Okay, this is also not very common these days, but trance channeling is more a form of channeling where the channeler enters into an altered state of consciousness or a trance. In this state, they may relinquish control of their body. They give control of their body to the energy or the entity that they're channeling, okay? Very interesting, and it sounds a bit kind of somebody taking over your own body kind of thing, right? Or an entity taking over. Now, these are the things that we see when people sort, for example, you see this happen a lot in churches, and people don't understand that, right? You get somebody speaking, they say the person has got a demon in them, and the person starts talking in another voice, and they start doing things strange and stuff like that, okay? That's something that people have witnessed in the religious settings, okay? And then people get fearful because it looks very scary, okay? And a person's voice changes and everything, and their body moves in certain ways that that's not normal, right? That's a trance channeling. Not very popular these days, because spirit has realized that people's consciousness is more higher. A lot of people have the ability to channel in the conscious way, because they have a broader consciousness or belief that's not blocking the entity or the energies of coming through, okay? And then it's automatic writing, as I said before. I mentioned it before. Also known as spirit writing, or it's a form of channeling. It's a form of channeling as well, the spirit writing or automatic writing. The person may not be in a trance state, but you're aware and you're conscious, but you're having all these ideas coming through, and you're like writing. I think it was that guy, Neil, he wrote books on there. It's called Conversations with God. He experienced what we call automatic writing, right? the Conversations with God is written by the guy Neil, I forgot his name, but the Conversations with God, that book, he wrote about 5 books, I think, and he speaks about how he asked God, he asked divine source questions. He was in a place of distress in his life, right? And then he had, all of a sudden he had this idea to go take a pen and write, and then he started getting all his answers while he was writing from source, from his higher self maybe, but from an entity from another dimension was helping him through and answering his questions. Okay, now this is my understanding. If everything is one and the law of oneness is a real thing, that we're all connected, right? God is everything. So God is your higher self, God is your guides, God